Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. This is the first season review of a finals eliminated team. This is, of course, a review on the Western Bulldogs Bulldogs 2022 season. Of course, last year, the Dogs ended up finishing in 5th position on the home and away season, but they did win three sudden death games to get into the AFL Grand Final, ultimately getting beaten, smashed in the end by the D's, to the tune of 71 points. I think. That's despite them being leading by 19 points at some stage in the third term. This year, they ultimately snatched 8th position away at the expense of Carlton. For me, even though they did make finals, it was a disappointing season for me for the Bulldogs. I mean, we all thought that maybe they could come back to where they were last year, and that's making the grand final, but maybe make top 4, maybe, or maybe finish top 2, but they finished far from that. Finishing in 8th position with 10 wins to their name, and sorry, not 10 wins, 12 wins to their name, and the 10 losses as well. With a percentage of 108.8, which is according to my calculations, I think it's about between 20 to 25% less than they had last year. Excuse me. And of course in the finals, obviously at one stage they were leading by 41 points, and we all thought Bulldogs by how far. And then Fremantle came over the top of them to win that one in a game we all thought that from the previous three finals that were from the previous three finals with Brisbane, Richmond, Sydney, Melbourne, and Collingwood and Geelong, I should say, rather. That it was gonna be the weak link of the first week of the finals, but ultimately it didn't in the end. So yeah. So getting into the highlights, obviously the main highlight was the only main highlight for me was their round 23 win against Hawthorn. That sealed that place in the finals. For the final fortnight of the home and away season against GWS and Hawthorn, they were pretty much ugly wins, but they did what they needed to do: win those and hope Carlton would lose them both. Ironically, they did, and they snuck into the 8. Snuck into the 8. So as I said, they meant that after the Fremantle game at Marvel, everyone thought, their finals hopes are gone. But unless they win both their 2 games and Carlton lose both their games, which, as I said, that happened. So yeah. The low light for me for the season have to be that letting slip that 41 point lead in the elimination final, and they have a bit of a history at this as well, dating back to last year's grand final. As you remember, at the 12-minute mark of the third quarter of last year's grand final, they were 19 points up when Bontempelli kicked that goal to put him 19 points in front. Next thing you know, and then as I know, you all know, we all know, Melbourne went on bang, 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 bang after that. to end up winning by 74 points. That's a correction, by the way. I said 71, but it was close. It was actually 74 points. This one, it was sort of difficult. It's not like the same thing where Fremantle went bang, bang, bang with quick fire goals. It was more or less Fremantle were just inching their way back into the game, and then basically when the game was needed to be won, they did it, obviously, and went over the line. That's going to be a main worry for Luke Beveridge. I mean, that is a concern. To throw away a 41-point lead in the early stages of the second quarter, that is not good at all, and that's something that they need, that they basically they need to atone for, and I think, as I said, it's been a disappointing season for, and it basically. And that loss in the elimination final was basically basically their season in a game, because they were good enough. They were good enough at stages, but when games were really on the line, they didn't step up. And ironically, that made them made the finals exit, which was a shame. I mean, they could, if they had won that game, they probably would have challenged Collingwood in the next week, and it probably would. And I know they probably would not have beaten Sydney in the preliminary final, but still, they probably would have done done it again. What they've done in 16, what they've done in 21. And that is go deep in the finals if they'd beaten Fremantle. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. So yeah. Judging by their season, let's get into my marking them out of 10. I've given them a 5.5 out of 10. I was going to give them 5 out of 10, but I've given them the half a point because of them making the finals. A bit of a mediocre, as I said, that's what I should have said, a mediocre season for the Bulldogs. And hopefully they march back up the ladder, hopefully to where they should be in 2023. The players that starred this year, first one was to speak about is Jamara Ugle-Hagan. He really did. He didn't really appear that much last year, obviously, because it was his first year, and he was the number 1 draft pick, and it was very public about Luke Beveridge making him wait for his debut, and he ultimately did. This year, he showed that he's arrived on the scene. Some say that the man who everybody says is the next Buddy Franklin. He's kicked 18 goals in 17 games, an average of just over a goal a game. And that's gonna go, and that goal count and that average goals per game count, that's gonna go up and up as the years go by for Jamara. So I think for me, and I think that they've got plenty of youngsters in there. Of course, Sam Darcy debuted, who's the son of Luke Darcy. That debuted. Luke McComb came on the scene as well. Cody Waitman showed that his performances late on in 2021 was really no fluke. So even though they do got star players in there like I'll mention later, in Bontempelli and Dunkley and co, they do have if they born around the youngsters like Ugle-Hagan, like Darcy, and so on, then they'll really thrive, and I think it'll be in for future success. So I think future is bright in that case for the Bulldogs. Another one that really starred this year is the astronaut himself, Aaron Norton. I think for me, he's been one of the most. He's not probably the most underrated key forward in the league, but he's up there amongst top 3, top 5 underrated key forwards in the league. At his current form, because the stats here show in his early years in 2018 to 2020, I know in 2018 he was mostly put down back. Then in 2019 they put him forward, which and apparently there's rumors probably that he could probably go when Lob requested a trade to the Bulldogs, that he would go back again, which I don't think now, with Lob's move being rejected by the Dockers, I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll stay as a key forward. He scored during that period of 2018 to 2020. He scored 49 goals in 53 games. On average, that's under a goal a game, which is not good for someone who's a key forward. But he really has improved in the last couple of years, especially this year where he's kicked 51 goals. He's kicked 98 goals in 47 games on average of two goals per game. On average in that time in the last couple of years, which is astounding that he's not been talked about more, and also what he's talked about is his marking ability. He's always been a good mark. He's not that known for basically like ragdoll. The key word is ragdolling people out of the way to get the mark. He's more of a jumper, jump at the ball and take it at its highest point, kind of marking player. But at the same time in 2018 to 2020, he was, as I said, he's been known to be a good marker throughout his entire career. It marks the ball well throughout his entire career. From 2018 to 2020, he got on average, he was marking the ball on average 4.7 per game, and then in this current period, from 2021 and 2022, he's averaged 5.4 marks a game, which is up on from 2018 to 2020. So I hope that he really takes that to the next level. There's Norton. The only criticism I have is I think most of his goals have come from the set shot. He doesn't kick a lot of normal goals, as in non-set shot related goals. That's the only criticism I have. But I think as I said, he is up there amongst the most underrated key forwards in the league for sure. Finally, who I've got that is under pressure. It has to be their star players. I think. The ones that I've got here are I've got Treloar, Bontempelli, Dunkley, Smith, Lockie Hunter, McRae, Bailey Dale, and Jason Johannesson. Now we all know that Josh Dunkley has requested a trade to Brisbane, which is going to be interesting on that front. Treloar, he's had most of them like Treloar, Bontempelli, Hunter. I mean, they've had, Treloar and Bontempelli, they've had good seasons, but not as good as it was last year. McRae as well. I think the only pass mark I believe has been McRae, and probably Smith are probably the two that I think that could, out of that class they consider having a pass mark for the season. Bailey Dale, I believe he's been okay. He wasn't as good as he was last year. Johannesson, I think there's been rumours that of a 3-year deal on, as I said so many times, on the from the Gold Coast Suns. Does he go there? I don't know. I don't know if he might go there. I don't know, but yeah, and obviously yeah. So yeah, and of course Dunkley as well. He judging by the Brownlow votes on Sunday night, he also had a good season. So I think Dunkley, Smith, and McRae probably I can give a pass mark for the season. All the other, but unfortunately Dunkley's going to another club. So yeah, so I think all the star players need to step up. If they want to get back to where they were in 2021. They need their star players to step up. And yeah, so that is my way. That is, I think if they do, then they will get back to where they are. If they don't, then they could probably either drop down or they stay in where they are this season. Or they were this season. So yeah. So that is excuse me. That's basically the end of this video. So like this video, share this to anybody who is a Western Bulldogs fan. Comment down below. Comment down below. Do you where do you see if you're a Bulldogs fan? Do you think that the Bulldogs have a realistic chance of winning the premiership next year if the stars, like I said, Treloar, Bontempelli, Smith, McRae are firing on all cylinders? Do you think that is? I'd like to hear your opinion. And one last thing, somewhere down there, click on the big red button which is labelled subscribe. So until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later, and wherever you may be, may the sun or the moon shine on you.